This is Brian Snyder of Your Body Never Lies and the Your Body Never Lies College, and I'm here to answer questions about the Your Body Never Lies Playshop, which is an intuition training program. We teach you how to be psychic, and we do it by showing you how to pull away the veils that prevent you from using your natural ability, which is being psychic. So I really dislike that I can't see my volume levels. So somebody chat, tell me you can hear me, or chat in a question. I'd love to answer your questions about the play shop. And if there aren't any questions, I think I'll just talk about psychic training. Here's a question. Morning, Brian. In your experience, roughly how long does it take students to shed old traumas? I assume it depends on how much has to be shifted. The sound is great. Oh, good. How long does it take students to shed old traumas? It really matters what your approach is. If you are actively hunting for your old traumas to try to figure out how to let them go, you're going to ruin your life. You're not really going to ruin your life, but you're going to spend your life trying to heal your past instead of just enjoying what's happening right here, right now. So that's not the way to do it. In Your Body Never Lies, the basic process is to go after the initial trauma only. It's the only trauma we really need to attend to. And that initial trauma that sent us on a trajectory of holding on to all of our traumas, when you let go of your initial birth trauma, which is part of the YBNL play shop, when you do that, it pulls the rug out from underneath every other trauma that your body has ever held on to. So once you do that, then it's just about when an old trauma bubbles up to the surface, when you see somebody that reminds you of that teacher that, hit you with a ruler or whatever it is, you remember, oh yeah, when that happened, it reactivated my initial trauma. So this is part of the healing story. It's one of the lessons in the play shop. But when you recognize when something gets rekindled, that it's simply trying to prove a negative that is false, your body just lets it go. Now, how long that takes is going to be different for everybody. And myself, I like to think I was healed after a year or so, but the fact is I am still a student of this work. I continue to use the play shop and the play shop process to continually peel off old layers as they bubble up. And for me, I had some buried traumas from when I was a little kid. When I was 5, 6 years old, I was physically and sexually abused by the older children in my neighborhood. And I was in a family that didn't talk. We were totally dysfunctional. So I had to bottle all that stuff up, and it was buried deep. I started my spiritual healing journey at about the age of 15. I met my guru and my teacher when I was in my mid-late 20s, and I was in my late 30s when I finally had all of the information that I present to you in the play shop. And then it was through my 40s of using the information and cascading out my old traumas. It wasn't until my 50s that the old trauma, the physical and sexual abuse, bubbled up for me to let go of. And now it's gone. Like, I can talk about it just as if I'm tell you what kind of coffee I'm drinking. Like, there's no charge left on those memories. So it took me a long time, but also I recognize it took me a long time because I was the first one to go through this process and to unravel it. And, I'm shooting in the dark trying to figure this stuff out. Now I figured out how I did it. It seems that a student going through the play shop and truly looking at the healing story and truly practicing the cascade, you can wash out all of the traumas that bother you within a few weeks, a few months, certainly less than a year, for sure less than a year. Well, what happens is that the deeper stuff will come off later. Stuff comes up to be released when we're ready to let it go. And it's just going to be different for everybody. The good news is that the college as you learn the psychic tools that I'm really interested in teaching at the college, those reactivate our feelings of being not enough. Like, how can I possibly get information from my friend who's on the other side of the world? Like, that's not possible. Well, of course, it's not possible to ego or to a body, but when you're psychic, you know exactly how it's done, and it's totally easy, and it's just inherent in who we are. But learning those things actually helps bring up old traumas, because it brings up times when we felt disconnected. It brings up times when we felt we couldn't do stuff. And that's really good news, because every time it comes up, you can go, oh, good, there's something else to let go of, because at that point you recognize how awesome it feels to let stuff go. So, Martin, give yourself a few months. If anyone who isn't sure how much they've advanced by doing the exercises in the Playshop, if you can't come to the college for whatever reason, or you can't chat into me for whatever reason, just watch the videos again. When you watch them a second or third time, you're going to see new information, and that's confirmation that you've expanded and grown. You've shifted. If you hadn't shifted, you wouldn't see that new information. You wouldn't see the information that you missed before. So you can give yourself confirmation that you're advancing by watching the videos again. And, if you'd like to come to the college, just come to yourbodyneverlies.org, fill out the contact form, tell me that you've been watching Playshop videos and you'd like a little help, and I'll get you into the college for free. You can't have the whole program for free, but I'll get you in the door, and you'll have access to me in the first few classes, and we'll get you going. And there's really nothing better than living a life free of old traumas. And this doesn't mean that my memories don't come up. I mean, I think about stuff all the time, but when it comes up, I don't get freaked out and I don't get charged up, and it's just pictures in my mind. When your memories are just pictures and no longer full of emotional charges, we really do become freer in some way. We become freer to make new choices, freer to see things in a new way, and really freer to grow in ways that we couldn't before. So that was fun to answer. Are there any more questions? Laura says, bubbling over with bubbly stuff, smiley face. Okay, that sounds good. So Laura, I think you must be done with the Playshop if you're writing that. That's great news. Are there any more questions? Should I talk a little bit more about the psychic stuff? Because that's always fun. The difference between psychic training with Your Body Never Lies and psychic training basically anywhere else is that those other psychic schools, and no, I've not been to all of them, but I've had students come to me from some of those schools, they will teach you how to slow down and connect and get information from another person, but that's all you're going to get. And in YBNL, there's just so much more. So not only do you learn how to get information, you also learn how to deliver the solution, to unravel whatever the issue is. I'm not into psychic information unless it can be used for expansion and growth. If I'm tuning into somebody to find out what they're holding on to, I'm not doing it to find out what they're holding on to. I'm doing it so I can help them let it go. And that's really the joy of YBNL, is we're all about win-win and helping each other out. And in fact, the way I teach and the way it was taught to me, the psychic gifts and the plays and the fun stuff that we do, it only works for win-win. If we try to use it to get better, to get more for ourselves and have someone else lose out, or to otherwise activate our scarcity, it collapses, it falls apart. That's the nature of connection and the nature of oneness, and that's what I'm about. So, any more questions? I guess not. I did have a question the other day. Oh, you too. You have a great weekend. Thanks a lot. I did have a question the other day about this process of change. because I give it a metaphor of us having a border guard. You know, when you're traveling around the world, you go to a new country you haven't been to before, and you get up to the border. There's a border guard there to ask you for your passport. And the same thing happens to us when we go to change. We go to grow in some way. You want to go try something brand new, and the first thing that happens is this border guard comes up and says, "Are you sure you want to go there? Are you sure you're good enough to go in that club? Are you sure those people want you here?" And that voice, it's there to prevent change. It's there to keep you safe. And to be more accurate, it's there to keep you safe by preventing change. And that border guard, when you go to a different psychic school, and I don't even consider myself a psychic school, it's just a footnote for what we do. But a lot of the psychic schools, they teach you how to cope with that voice, how to get around that voice, how to ignore that voice, how to push it away so it doesn't bother you. And that's the opposite of what we do in the college. Here at the YBNL college, we embrace that voice, we develop a relationship with it, and we get it to do its job in a different way. Because ultimately, what's really fun about that voice is it can be retrained from a border guard, keeping you from changing, into a partner that watches your back to keep you safe. So you get a little, hey, better switch lanes. You know, if you're driving and someone's coming up the lane and it's a little unsafe, that voice can tell you to change lanes before you even consciously know what's going on. And that's when the psychic games get really fun, because when you've got this partner and your intuitive voice, things can really get magical. So that's what I'd like to share with you today. And if that interests you, come to the YBNL College. Come to yourbodyneverlies.org. Scroll down to the bottom of the contact form, fill it out, tell me why you'd like to get into the college, and I'll get you in the door. You can check it out and see if you'd like to stay. And yourbodyneverlies.org, there's other information there too about the program and the college, and come check it out. We're doing lots of fun things, and if there's no more questions, I guess I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks for being here today. Tell your friends and get through the classes. And when you have a difficulty or a question, do reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. At the end of the day, what we're really doing at the college is learning a vocabulary. And on some level, all of the exercises and all of the classes are simply to make those new definitions and some new words, but mostly new definitions for old words, to make those more real in our body so that we can communicate about these phenomena a lot better. Because you know, and I know we're all psychic. We've all had these intuitive hits. We all know, right? You think about your friend and then the phone rings, right? And it's your friend calling you. We all have those sorts of psychic clicks and connections. But we don't really have a vocabulary to talk about it. And that's really the wonderful thing about the college, is that when you get the vocabulary and we can begin talking about these things, we can really expand our understanding and expand our ability to use these skills, because they are skills. They are not flukes and they are not magic. So, all right, no more questions. All right, you all have a great weekend. And I look forward to seeing you next Saturday. And also, I'll remind the college students who are here that there are Zoom calls Tuesday morning, California time. On Fridays in the morning, California time, I am opening up to private sessions. So these are free for college students. If you'd like help getting through the classes, wherever you are at, you need to be at least through the 5th video of the Playshop, and then you can have a free half-hour consultation with me Friday mornings. I'm going to be doing that for at least a month. So that's the announcement. I'll put it in the newsletter as well and at the college. And again, I'll see you on campus. It's a lot of fun. Live stream is cool, but campus is way cooler. All right. No more questions. Have a great day. Glad you're here, and I'll see you next weekend. Have fun.